fresh meat.
So the same guys that I canoe with, we do an adventure every summer, and one year we decided to go out and climb Mount Rainier in Seattle, which is, I mean, it's not a huge mountain, it's 14,500 feet or something, but it's daunting because it's glaciated from about 10,000 feet up, which means it's, you know, the guys who go and climb Everest train there. And it's a funny mountain because it's a combination between challenging and accessible. So they run tons of people up and down this mountain who think they're doing like a huge mountain experience, which they kind of are. You know, the biggest mountain climbing accident in North America happened on Rainier. 11 people got swept into a crevasse. There's been like 42 people die over the years, but there's been thousands of people go up it. So it's a combination of dangerous, challenging, but also accessible because it's close to Seattle and you can get up. So we go out and we're going to do this mountain. And we did a little differently. You can hire the guides. You can join kind of a public trip where they put 10 people on a rope team. They walk you up to 10,000 feet. Then you sleep till midnight, you get up at midnight, you summit, and you come all the way back down. So it's basically 2 days. But you're climbing from midnight till 8 in the morning when you summit, and then all the way back down, you get off the mountain at 4 o'clock the next afternoon. What we did is we went up to 8,000 feet, spent a night, then we went up to 10,000 feet, set camp, got up at midnight and headed for the top. And then came back down to that camp and then off the mountain. So we did it in 3 days. Anyway, that's not important to the story, but the thing about this team, what is important to the story is the thing about this 2 day up and down is they accept anybody. If you pay your 2,500 bucks, you're in. So like we met people when we were going up that made it 1,000 feet and then they just like, oh, I can't do this, and they got off them because it's challenging. We trained for it, but they'll accept anybody. And if you get up to the top above 10,000 feet after midnight when you're climbing at night, now you're in a rope team, you've got crampons, you've got ice axes, you've been taught how to arrest falls if your rope team goes, how you stop, and you've got 4 people hanging off because you're wearing a belt harness. But if you get on that climb and then you run out of gas, which people do, then what they do is they take you off the rope team, they stuff you into your sleeping bag, they find a little place on the mountain, they lay you down on the mountain, they stick an ice axe through something, whether it's you know, the hood of your jacket or some little tab on your sleeping bag to try and pin you to the mountain in case the wind comes up or whatever, and then they radio ahead. You know, I left the guy at 13,200 feet, can you pick him up on the way down? And you kind of lie there in your mummy bag waiting to be picked up on the way down. You might fall asleep because you're exhausted. That wasn't us. That's what happens to these rope teams. So we go up to 10,000 feet. And the other thing about Rainier is you have to carry your poop off the mountain because it's glaciated. So if you poo on the mountain, it stays there forever. So they give you these little baggies, these little blue baggies, and you gather up your poop and then you freeze it, put it in your backpack, bring it down to 10,000 feet, dump it in cans. And pooping's a big issue because when you climb, you don't carry anything except freeze-dried food. So when you make camp, you dig a little platform for your tent, dig a hole for your kitchen, you start boiling water, and then it's all about hydration and freeze-dried food. So you're eating freeze-dried food, and for most of us, me in particular, maybe not everybody, freeze-dried food goes through me like shit through goose, right? So freeze-dried food. So I'm pooping away on this mountain. I got, behind everybody's tents, their bags, and I got 12, and they got 4. That tent's got 6, between 2 of them. My 12 are my own, because I'm in a tent with Fisher, and he never poops. So anyway, midnight we start up this mountain, and almost immediately, within 2 hours, I got to poop, and I'm in this. We're in climbing gear, and we're on harness, and we're on ropes, and it's very serious. I mean, they're very concerned because we're crossing crevasses. They got ladders, we got headlights. So finally at about 3:30, 4 in the morning, the sun was just starting to come up over the horizon, and we're way above it. We're sitting on the side of this mountain. You take a break, and when you take a break, even though it's July, it's freezing, when you take a break, you take your down your down off. Oh, you put your down on. I'm sorry, you get really zipped up. When you're climbing, you take your down off. Put your down on because it's really cold and we're taking a break and we're sitting there. And I finally turned to Brenda, and Brenda's our leader. We hired her as a guide, and she'd been to the top of Everest. So she was like God to us. She was this really fit climbing girl. And I said, Brenda, I really gotta have a dump. And I know it's a bad spot, and I don't really want to do, but I'm pretty uncomfortable. And she said, okay, here's what you do. You're gonna unhook from the rope team, cross the path coming up. You got about 100 feet on the other side of the path. Find a place over there. Have you got your bags with you? So yeah, I brought a bag. So remember, you gotta bag it, bring it back with you. And get it done and get back on the rope team as quickly as possible. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And we look down the mountain in the darkness, and there's other climbing. You can see from their headlights, there's these strings of rope climbers coming up. So I unhooked from, and as soon as I do that, of course, my buddies are like, what's going on, Jeff? I gotta have a dump. So they're chirping at me, right? Durs, you all right? You know, you be careful over there. So I immediately turned my headlight off because I don't want to attract attention. Let my eyes kind of adjust to the dark, but it's still kind of murky. And I wander over, and a few feet, I don't want to go too far because there's supposed to be this cliff. So I have 100 feet, but I don't want to use it all up, right? So I just look for the first kind of flat spot I can find on the hill. And there's a nice spot, so I wriggle out of my drawers and I get hunched over, and I'm about to go, and I hear, hey. I'm like, what? The guys aren't talking to me, and I listen, hey, and I look down, and there's this guy stuffed into his sleeping bag, cinched up, with an ice axe stuck through the top of his sleeping bag, waiting for a rope team to take him off the hill. And I was about to crap on him, and I think to myself, how bad is your day? I mean, not only did you pay $2,000 to climb a mountain you couldn't climb, you were so humiliated that they took you off the rope team and stuck you to the side of the hill. And then this guy comes along and shits on you. Like, which I didn't do, by the way. His hay was in time and loud enough that I was able to relocate. He saw your bumhole. He did see. He woke up just in time. It must have been a surprise. What the hell is that? Hey, hey!